Obama is doing a spirited defense of his health care bill, and he's going to mock the right wing and the press, etc., in this speech, and the crowd's going to eat it up. So let's share it with you. Clip number 9.
Now, over the last year, there's been a lot of misinformation spread about health reform. There's been a lot of fear-mongering, a lot of overheated rhetoric. You turned on the news, you'd see that those same folks who were hollering about it before are still hollering about how the world will end because we passed this bill. This is not an exaggeration. All right? John Boehner called the passage of this bill. We don't need to boo. I just want to give the facts. Called this passage of this bill Armageddon. You had others who said this is the end of freedom as we know it. So after I signed the bill, I looked around. I looked up at the sky to see if asteroids were coming. I looked at the ground to see if cracks had opened up in the earth. You know what? It turned out it was a pretty nice day. Birds were still chirping. Folks were strolling down the street. Nobody had lost their doctor. Nobody had pulled the plug on Granny. Nobody was being dragged away to be forced into some government-run health care plan. But the thing is, though, you have to love some of the pundits in Washington. Every single day since I signed the reform law, there's been another poll or headline said, "Nation still divided on health care reform. Polls haven't changed yet." Well, yeah. It just last week. It's only been a week. Can you imagine if some of these reporters were working on a farm and you planted some seeds and they came out next day and they looked and nothing's happened. There's no crop. We're going to starve. Oh, no. It's a disaster. It's been a week, folks. So before we find out if people like health care reform, we should wait to see what happens when we actually put it into place. Just a thought.
All right, that was as good as I've seen Obama.
No, it's the candidate became the president right there, you know, and that's what you're looking at. I mean, that's what America voted for, and that's what we haven't seen, and that's better than he even was on the campaign trail.
And that's certainly the funniest I've ever seen.
Yeah, and the most relaxed and the most. I think this victory gave him, and I hate this term because I've never known really what it means, but sometimes you just have to say mojo. And it gave it to him because he has this intangible now, and I think it has informed the way he behaved yesterday, bringing bad news to his own party, today bringing good news to his country. I sort of think that there's been a change in the way he is.
And it was more aggressive, too. Like the Obama of the past would have been more reluctant, I think. I could be wrong, but that's certainly what I saw and experienced in the first year. Would have been more reluctant to go after the press in that way, in that mocking tone, and more reluctant to go after Republicans. And he was batting them back and forth. And so that was refreshing, and it was good to see. And the crowd response was overwhelming. We cut out like 30 seconds of applause from that because we just had to get it going.
Yeah.
But every line had this great applause. Now, since my new role is a bit of a Debbie Downer, although we've done nearly an hour giving Obama credit so far, in this show.
It doesn't have to be equal time, by the way. I mean, there are times you can be down on the president. There are days where you can just be up on him the entire day.
Absolutely. But, Michael, you weren't on the show as this thing passed and et cetera.
Right.
So just real quick.
I noticed that, by the
way. In this very short time that we have. So, look, one of the critics of his health care plan is me. one of the reasons I criticize it is because he gave away the public option for apparently no reason. But am I seeing that wrong? I mean, he didn't get any Republican votes, and he didn't get the healthcare insurance industry obviously behind him. So why did he give it away?
Well, I think because, there are a few reasons why he gave it away. One, I loved hearing John McCain in the wake of the passage of healthcare say, well, he's going to get no cooperation now from the Republican Party. Oh, really? Wow, now we got to really change the way things are done. But truthfully, I was with you. I mean, it's the issue, public option and single payer was something that I was adamant about going into this, and I almost thought we should vote it down in a sort of extreme Kucinich-like way. But I came to hear and see a few things. One is that incremental change is better than no change at all, because with incremental change, there are ways to see this grow and ways to see its efficacy, and then bring people over to your side. That's a little pie in the sky, but it's something I had to buy into. The other part of it was he needed to pass this to save his presidency. And in a big picture, yes, it was giving away too much. The perceptions are different than what we know the intricacies of this bill are. But I do think that there was this sort of overarching feeling that this president had to, for the moment, save his presidency. And by passing this legislation, by having a victory, now you're getting to see this. Now you're getting to see a president out on the stump, basically. Popular, making people laugh. This is a relaxed man. We can read too much into all of that. But the point is, it gave stamina to his flagging presidency. And I think he needed that in an election year, and I think he needed it with his job.
Right. Now, of course, he'd given away the public option before all of that really came to pass. Well, but as you were talking, Michael, I mean, I think the real reason he gave it away, I mean, all those things you said are perfectly valid, and I get that, he needed the conservative Democrats to sign it. I don't think he would have lost, and conservative corporatists, whatever you want to call them, Democrats.
But that's what I mean. That's encompassed in what I'm saying. I mean, that should be implicit. But the other thing is he passed some health care reform, and people with pre-existing conditions are going to get covered, and children are going to get covered, and these things are so. It is better than it was the day he got there, and I think that is, with an exclamation point. And I think that's what we have to remember. People who were not happy not having the single payer, not happy having the not having the public option. I think those people have to remember that it is much better than it was before Barack Obama was president.